think I got a story and I want to share it with you all. I was thinking about the day that I called my son. I had had a spiritual awakening or some type of encounter. And so I called my son. And he should have known something was wrong because I asked him, am I dead? Am I dead? He got offended with me. He's like, no, you ain't dead. Or no, I was like, I feel like I'm dead. Right? So he comes over. He comes over here, right? And I explained to him that I had this spiritual awakening. And I was asking him if he could see things, because I could see things, but he's like, no, he couldn't see them. And I was like, well, then I'm losing my mind because I see things and you're telling me you don't see them, right? So I'm losing my mind. Is that it? Then I'm going crazy right now, right? I also told him as he was sitting on my bed, I said, you know, y'all fucked up, right? Right? You know, he didn't say, what are you talking about? Right? I went to explain to him that the girl on Instagram, she's all in my energy field for some reason. It's like when I had the spiritual awakening and I snapped to all in my energy. Right. So he said, why you say her? I said, because she's all in my energy for some reason. I've never hung out with her, never talked to her on the phone. So why is she so strong in my energy? Right? They were messing around with black magic. She thinks that somehow she could take spiritual gifts. She says she can. She thinks by eliminating me. Let me tell you the lengths that they went to. They stole my ID, right? Went open up a fake bank account with my name, Carrie Brown, which I've never used Carrie Brown. I've always included my grandfather's last name with the hyphen Brown. The paperwork came to my house. I'm like, who? I've never been to this bank in my life. So, I call them and tell them it's fraudulent, right? Then I go get a divorce. I go down there. I get a ticket and I look my case up on my case. It's a man that I never met on my paperwork. He's from South Carolina. He dead, right? So they did that, right? My grandfather, who is deceased, he said, put your name in the search engine. I do. A few things pop up. I ain't going to tell you what all popped up because they tearing up paper, shredding stuff, getting rid of stuff, deleting stuff. They trying to clean their tracks, but it's too late. But the business, I've been calling these people since 2021. I finally get in contact with someone who called me back in 2025. And I tell him, hey, my name is Carrie. I've been trying to call you since 2021. I don't know anything about your business. I don't know why you keep saying that I work here. And then you change my picture, right? Instead of deleting it after I done left them many replies, they changed but the business still going. I called the FBI on them as well, right? Yeah, all this crazy stuff is going on. But back to the story. My son, he came over here. Now, I didn't know me and my son had any problems, right? And I never thought that he would switch up on me like that. Now, and I do remember him wanting to race to get to $1 million first. Right, we had a contest. I told him that if we'll see who'll get to $1 million first. I didn't think he'd take it literally, and I hope that he didn't. Right? That was just me trying to motivate him to get to where he was going. I already got my vision for my own life. And it's never competing with family. That's crazy, right? If somebody in the family doing something good, then they should get in a position so they can pull somebody else up. I would never compete with a family member. That's ridiculous. You're biting your own tail off, right? You're hurting yourself. But these people, that impoverished thinking to get you messed up. But back to the story. So yeah, Wincy Poo Poo, all in my energy. I'm like, why? Why? Now I can remember her saying something. I didn't know girl, were you intimidated? You didn't think I was so great? You didn't think I was fabulous, huh? What you thought, girl? You should never listen to people. right? Especially when they probably twisted and they're thinking about someone, right? I'm very equipped. Uh-huh. What did you think again? I'm a weak, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. No, I serve the Most High, right? I stay. But back to the story. My son, sitting here, he never said, Ma, I think you need some help. Ma, are you okay? He never said nothing like that. The same thing with my mother. My grandfather, who is deceased, told me to call her on the phone and tell her to stop doing black magic on me and my family. She never said, what are you talking about? I don't do black magic. Why would I do black magic? Your grandfather's dead. Why would I want to hurt you? Right? But she the same one who said, well, your ex-husband, he's sick and he's dying. He's sick and dying. He just wants you to come home and take care of him. And I'm like, how'd she know that? How'd she know that? When did she talk to him? Why is she talking to him? Why she ain't never said nothing to me that she talked to him? Right? All these secrets. I told him he better be careful because they like to swarm on you like parasites. Can't get rid of them. They'll try to get in, begging. Huh? And then they'll probably set you up for some okie doke. Yeah. Because they don't really like men. They just like to use men. Right? They like women too. You didn't know? Yeah. But yeah, back to the story. My son, he sat over here. Didn't say nothing. That's the same one that said he disowned me after I told him about a download that I got. Right? I think that's what it was about, really. Right? It just required a yes or no. He got offended by the question, but I got a download. And it was my responsibility to ask. Right? I know it wasn't about the $40 because I gave you $500 or loaned you $500. So me asking you for $40, if you got it, cool. If you don't, cool. But I can't believe you disowned me for that. Right? Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. Right? I know it can't be because your daddy lay with my sister. Right? And possibly had a son. Right? He didn't ever tell y'all that? I thought he was a deacon. How you gonna be a deacon and you carrying such deep secrets? Did he never told y'all that? He didn't tell y'all. That's why me and him broke up. He didn't tell y'all that? What'd he say about me again? Oh, okay. I guess that goes out the window, huh? That's some information that should have been exposed, especially if you talking about somebody. Make sure you tell your shit, right? It reminds me of the one-armed bandit with the magic mouth, the wrinkled skin girl with the stomach cancer. She said it's cancer. Tyrone, he died though, right? Tyrone, remember Tyrone? I do. He was fine, right? Fine as hell. We went to see him a couple of months later. He looked like he was 80 or 90 years old in that bitch. I said, damn, you think he's sick? Because that was a transformation that was, scary. Anyway, back to my story. Yeah, I had the spiritual awakening. I was telling my son that I had this spiritual awakening, blah, 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 blah. I'm excited and I'm tripping because I'm thinking I'm dead, right? But I called somebody else and told them I felt like I was suspended between two realms and I'm not coming down, right? I'm not coming down. That's how good it felt. But I told him I feel like I'm suspended between two realms, right? But back to the story. My son, yeah. And I haven't seen him since 2021. That's another thing that's amazing to me. I haven't seen neither one of them since 2021, right? Amazing to me. It just brings up a whole lot of questions for me, right? Was I that horrible of a mother? I don't think so, right? Even with my problems, I don't think so, right? Anyway, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, what I was talking about my story when I had my spiritual awakening and Witchy Poo Poo. She was in my energy so strong that I called her on the phone. I don't know why she got afraid, but she did. She got scared and started talking about she gonna tell her mama. Right? I got questions. Right? That was in 2021. They still ain't, I ain't seen none of them. Right? Brown Building LLC at gmail.com, and I still live in the same house. I ain't seen none of them. Right? It can't be because I'm talking and healing myself, is it? Because I believe that if you disrespect someone, you cannot expect them to be disrespectful for you. You running around here backbiting my mammy. Another thing she did. So she told me that my ex-husband was sick and dying. And so I was concerned. I had a spiritual awakening. His mama showed up here. And his mom, who loved me, said something about some money. She kept talking to me about money, that they had my money. So I called him and asked him about my money because Ma was here. Now, he probably thought I was crazy, but Ma was telling me about my money and I want it. Still to this day, I want it. Right? But my mammy, right, I'm so concerned. At first, I called that man's sister. She never called me back. I called one of his daughters. She never called me back. So I called the police because I'm frantic now because some weird stuff is going on. So I called the police to go do a wellness check. My auntie Vicky called me and said, your mama saying that you stupid and you this and you need to leave that man alone. And why are you doing this and why are you doing that? Like her thoughts matter. Like she gets a right to say anything. She don't have a right to say shit. And why is she saying something? Why? Ain't she too involved when you grown? Yeah, but behind the scenes, it ain't no telling what she's doing because she's up to something, right? She got so upset that she called her sister. She didn't call me, right? I was the one worried. I was the one concerned, but she never called me. She called her sister, talking shit. And I'm like, why is my mama calling? What's going on? Right? What's going on? Right? They still don't want to say because they already know. Pulling it from the roots, generational curses. They already know the shit that they continuously do. And she's the head of it. And she's embarrassed and ashamed. And she should be. Because she's stupid. Right? And do stupid shit. Right? Right. But back to my story. She calls her sister, right, and tell her how stupid I am. Huh? Because I care. I care? Because I didn't have a problem with this person? Y'all wanted us to have a problem. Right? Y'all wanted us to have a problem. We don't have no problems. And the ones that he got to deal with them cause of y'all. Right? But back to my story. The witchy poo-poo girl. I'ma tell my mama. I'ma tell my mama with all that mouth. Right? The one that like to shit out babies and then the babies disappear. Her. I'ma tell my mama. I call her witchy poo-poo. Eat a baby, drown a baby, roll over on the baby. Did the baby die? I don't know. She don't fucking know. Did she put the baby in the oven? I don't know. Did she drown the baby? I don't know. She don't either. Take your meds. Anyway, back to my story. Right? I'm like, why is she tripping? Once again, got her nose where it shouldn't. I told him, you better be careful. I wouldn't eat nothing, drink nothing. I damn sure wouldn't sleep with none of them. They want to curse you because they cursed. They like insurance checks. And they can play a good game with you. Huh? Yeah, we love you. We like you. We love you. We like you. We love you. We like you. We thinking about them dollar signs though on your monkey ass. Huh? Be careful. Because if they're behind my back, red flag. Red flag. Right? Be careful. Back to my story. Yeah, I'm like, why is my mama tripping? Why is she tripping? She's a little excited to not. She too excited. She too involved. Once again, meddling. Right? But like Granddaddy said, and I already told her, she traded her shit to be in some bullshit that she should have never been a part of. Not never. Because she's the grown up in the whole situation. And she remembers when her sister slept with her husband and they were fighting, rolling down them hills. We used to live on 2 big hills, her and my auntie, fighting. So she knew how that felt. She shouldn't want that for nobody else. But she's a demon, right? Because she wants you to hurt because she hurts. But we going to say, may the Most High bless her little heart. Huh? Bless your heart, girl. But yeah, back to my story. I'm like, these people crazy. And you know what? I'm going to talk about these niggas. Because the shit they keep doing, shameful. And sometimes maybe embarrassment is the only way you get a reaction. Maybe. My name is Carrie. But that's a true story. All of it. All of it. And it's been since 2021. And all this illegal shit they've done, they embarrassed behind it now. But they strongly supported it and stood behind it. Not too many years ago. Thinking what? They could do whatever they want. And they'll never get caught. Huh? Anyway. That's my story. And I'm going to stick to it.